Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. Today is June 26th, 2026, and the global news cycle is moving at breakneck speed. But rather than just looking at a bunch of isolated headlines, we're going to uncover exactly how these major events connect to each other. So let's dive right into this provocative question. It sounds kind of like a riddle, doesn't it? How on earth does a peace deal in the Middle East affect rice farming in Bangladesh? But stick with me. By the end of this explainer, we will reveal exactly how these seemingly disconnected global events are deeply, inextricably tied together. We're going to follow the ripples from high-level diplomacy right down to the local level. Here's our roadmap for today. We've got three main areas to cover. First up, peace agreements and economics. Second, crises, borders, and justice. And third, global culture and local strains. All right, diving right into Section 1, peace agreements and economics, navigating geopolitics and trade. We're currently witnessing what could be a monumental step toward ending the regional border war in the Middle East. Israel and Lebanon have officially signed a landmark framework agreement, which was brokered by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, while this is the first real step toward the eventual withdrawal of foreign troops, in the near term, the Israeli Defense Forces will maintain a firm presence in their designated security zone down in southern Lebanon. Meanwhile, the Lebanese armed forces are just beginning to train in newly launched pilot zones. But as you might expect, the situation on the ground is still incredibly complex. Senior Hezbollah lawmaker Hassan Fedallah went on Pan-Arab TV and stated clearly that the militant group will not disarm. He declared they firmly reject any direct negotiations with Israel, maintaining that previous UN resolutions only require them to clear arms south of the Litani River, not nationwide. Now, what's really fascinating here is the contrast we're seeing in the energy market because of all this. Thanks to the Israel-Lebanon framework and recent U.S.-Iran truces, global crude oil prices have literally plummeted to levels we haven't seen since late February. But you're likely still feeling the pinch at the pump, right? Despite that massive drop in crude, lingering supply chain backlogs and refined fuel shortages are keeping local gasoline prices artificially high in major Western cities. And it's exactly this kind of global fuel volatility that creates macroeconomic shockwaves around the world. Which brings us to a massive number. $1.1 billion. The World Bank has just approved this exact amount as an emergency assistance package for Bangladesh. And this actually answers our opening riddle. South Asian agriculture has just been hammered by the economic fallout from Middle East conflicts and that fuel volatility we just talked about. So Bangladesh is going to use that $1.1 billion emergency fund to purchase 600,000 metric tons of critical fertilizers. This is exactly how a peace framework and oil volatility in the Middle East directly secures the agricultural future of Bangladesh. It's all connected. All right, shifting gears to U.S. economic policy. There is another staggering number dominating international trade discussions today, and that is 100%. This comes straight from an aggressive economic warning delivered by President Donald Trump at a policy conference in Washington. That 100% figure refers to retaliatory tariffs. President Trump vowed to slap 100% tariffs on European imports if European Union nations actually move forward with their proposed digital services taxes. The administration's stance here is that these proposed EU taxes unfairly target major American tech conglomerates, so these steep tariffs would act as a direct one-to-one retaliation. Moving on to Section 2, crises, borders, and justice. We're shifting our focus here from global trade to urgent, human-centric crises and some major judicial rulings. Well, we turn now to a truly devastating tragedy unfolding in northern Venezuela. The region was just struck by consecutive magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes. Documented fatalities have tragically climbed past 180, with thousands more left completely homeless. Right now, international rescue crews are racing against the clock. But complicating matters immensely is the fact that the primary airport in Caracas is closed, which is creating a severe bottleneck for all those heavy aid shipments trying to get into the country. But amidst all that rubble, we are seeing some incredible community resilience. With the infrastructure inside Venezuela heavily fractured, the massive Venezuelan diaspora across the U.S. and Europe has rapidly mobilized. Expat networks are stepping up to organize emergency drop-off points, coordinate their own cargo shipping channels, and completely bypass those bottlenecks to deliver desperately needed medical items directly to the affected coastal communities. Now, while that aid crosses borders into Venezuela, the legal framework around crossing U.S. borders has just seen a massive shift. The U.S. Supreme Court has handed down a significant judicial victory for the Trump administration's immigration agenda, officially ruling in favor of a highly restrictive asylum policy. This decision legally reinforces fast-tracked border removal operations and places much steeper eligibility hurdles on migrants who are seeking protection. In another major cross-border legal development today, federal anti-narcotics efforts saw a massive win. A prominent Dominican national pleaded guilty in a Connecticut federal court to trafficking nearly 5 kilograms of pure fentanyl. This high-profile admission basically caps off a huge multi-agency sting that successfully dismantled illicit distribution networks flowing right into the northeastern United States. And finally, Section 3, Global Culture and Local Strains. We're looking at how massive cultural events, mixed with unseasonable weather, are seriously testing municipal limits. 68,000. That is the jaw-dropping number of stadium fans that Philadelphia city departments are coordinating right now. I mean, it's day 16 of the expanded 48-team FIFA World Cup, and it is pushing municipal infrastructure to its absolute limit. Philadelphia isn't just managing the chaotic stadium crowd. They are simultaneously managing a sprawling fan festival on Lemon Hill and multiple large-scale public concerts. It is a massive logistical puzzle. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Southern California is taking a completely different approach to managing this international tourist rush. Transportation officials have totally transformed LA Union Station into a massive, official World Cup fan zone. They've equipped the transit hub with giant outdoor match viewing screens, live concert lineups, and specialized transit shuttles to move all these crowds efficiently to the nearby stadiums. It's a really fascinating look at how infrastructure adapts to global culture. And hey, while soccer is totally dominating the global conversation, the professional golfing world has its eyes locked on Cromwell, Connecticut for the 2026 Travelers Championship. This prestigious PGA Tour signature event has drawn an elite international field. And much like the World Cup host cities, Connecticut is seeing localized hospitality and tourism revenues spike sharply as fans flock to the state. But there's a catch. All these massive outdoor celebrations are under serious threat on the U.S. East Coast tonight. Municipalities are bracing for severe, unseasonable storm cells. The National Weather Service has issued emergency severe thunderstorm watches and flash flood warnings across wide swaths of the coast. Basically, unseasonably high humidity is just crashing right into a fast-moving cold front, bringing intense threats of localized tornadoes. Let's wrap up this section on a great note of community building. Celebrating summer cultural visibility, the 2026 AZOP Queer Library Initiative has just launched across major international storefronts. They've actually partnered with the ACLU to distribute thousands of complimentary books by queer authors. It's a really unique program designed to explore the power of literature in building global community and visibility. And that brings us to the end of our journey today. We started with Middle East diplomacy and literally traced it all the way to rice farmers in Bangladesh. We watched expat networks completely bypass broken infrastructure, and we saw how global sports stretch local transit systems to the max. It all leaves us with this final thought. As we watch these ripples spread from a single day, how will today's global connections reshape tomorrow's reality? Thank you so much for exploring our deeply interconnected world with me. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.